All right, fam. I think it's safe to say that major changes are coming. And they may not have been some of what we hoped for or expected by the end of the trade deadline, but all the same, changes are coming. And in today's episode on a Saturday afternoon, we are going to talk about some of the negative stuff that came out yesterday. We're talking about Anthony Davis, the elephant in the room. But guys, some of the energy that I couldn't bring for you yesterday, whenever it was just raw emotion reacting to terrible news, I've got for you today. I actually can talk about a couple of different things that are positives that come from that news. You're like, are you serious, man? Are you serious right now? And yeah, I'm very serious. And don't call me Shirley. I am your host, Ethan, the advisor Clayton. Welcome to Your Mavs, a Dallas Mavericks podcast where all are welcome. Y'all better behave. Okay, lots to talk about. We should go ahead and just dive in. Let's do that. The AD stuff. Says it again on the scroll at the bottom. He will miss a minimum of 6 weeks with a fracture. I'm sorry, not a fracture, but a torn ligament in his left hand. You all saw the play. I didn't think it looked all that egregious, but it is all the same. He's going to miss some time. And if he and his camp opt into the surgery route, then it's likely that he's out for the rest of the season. Okay. Again, huge bummer on that part of on that side of things, mainly for his health. I said this yesterday. I really feel bad for the guy. He didn't do anything crazy to put himself in a position where he would get hurt. It's just kind of the lightning bolt keeps striking over and over. Not his fault. But I do want to talk about some of the painful irony of it all, right? The Luka of it all. And I do want to clarify, yesterday, whenever I told you that I am, in a grieving process, it's not about Anthony Davis, y'all. It is about Luka Doncic, right? Because we traded him for Anthony Davis, and we had, maybe call it a pipe dream, call it Delulu, whatever you want to call it, right? There was always a possibility that the Mavericks could be a really good team, and now it's still possible, but it's just definitely not going to happen this season, okay? So the irony that I just want to briefly touch on of it all. Do you remember some of the quotes that Nico Harrison brought back out after the trade was complete last February? Like, hey, time will tell if I'm right. We were looking to jump ahead of what was going to be a tumultuous summer, referring to the max contract extension. Painful irony there, right? Because now it was reported this morning, it is likely that the Mavericks are going to hold on to Anthony Davis now that the market has virtually disappeared for him. So what does that mean? That means this summer we're going to have tumultuous contract extension conversations. Okay. So there's strike one there on the irony scale. The next fun one, let's see. Oh yeah. There was like the whole player shape, being locked in. I am not going to fault Anthony Davis for not being able to work out over the summer because of his detached retina. Again, lightning bolts just keep striking, homie. Like, that is not something that anybody would expect. And in that instance, it was friendly fire from Daniel Gafford. It was like just a stray elbow that he caught, and he played through a detached retina. But whenever you get that thing repaired, you got to be stationary for a really long time. He came into the season not in shape, kind of like all the negativity that we used to throw at Luka Doncic, right? Like, oh, he didn't come into the season in shape. I was not one of those people, by the way. I wasn't recording podcasts at this point, so we couldn't. I don't have any receipts for you, but like, listen, that was something that was specifically brought up. Just being in championship shape, defense wins championships. All those things that were little cheap one-liners that were thrown out there have all like flown in the face of you know who. Should I just move on? Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah, and I have a major question looming in the back of my mind as I'm thinking about all this, as I'm still processing. Can we please get a GM in the house? Can we get an adult in the room to start figuring out what our trajectory forward is going to be? I was talking to my dad about this yesterday, and I'm not going to curse on this show, I promise. But when I was talking to him about it, like, I think he most accurately described this as an SHIT storm. Like, can we please get somebody that has experience and that has savvy and like, hey, maybe we've walked through a similar situation with another franchise before. Can we get someone like that in the room? Stat. Like, I don't know if we can fast track that search. It has been reported long by Mark Stein that we're going to ramp up our search in the spring, maybe even the summer. Maybe it's going to be Jason Kidd. That's our GM. But as it stands, we don't have a defined direction that we're going. Okay. There was all the back and forth negotiations with Toronto and with Atlanta about what kind of trade package would be acceptable for AD. Now that is past us, we still need to have a defined direction. Okay. Can we get a GM, please? Let's move on. When I said major changes are coming, I think we can give up on the hope that Anthony Davis would be moved by the trade deadline. Again, that was reported this morning. It's likely that we just hold on. Nobody's like offering anything for that type of situation. But what that does mean is that now we have a fire sale going on, in my opinion. Like clearance, everything must go. If you are not Cooper Flagg, if you are not Kyrie Irving, and in my opinion, if you're Max Christie and Derek Lively. Some of you are going to disagree with me in the comment section about that last statement about Derek Lively being included in that statement. Like, listen, I'll listen to any sort of argument that you want to make about moving him. But me personally, those are the four guys. Everyone else, including Najee Marshall, I'm so sad to even say it out loud, but we've got to move on. It is time to retool. We got to get this rebuild going, okay? And as far as assets on our roster, Klay Thompson has a $17 million salary. There aren't many teams that are excited about that number for him. However, if you're a contender and you need shooting, like that is a no-brainer. Like I don't even think that our asking price would be very high. Like if you're a contender, you got to go after a piece like that to solidify your bench, right? Like, hey, our closing out lineup is going to have Klay Thompson on the floor, right? He's not going to be the primary focus because he's definitely not going to be the best player on the floor at that time. But, if those other players that have the ball draw gravity, yeah, kick it open to Klay wide open in the corner. Like that's the kind of thing that championship rosters need. Okay. Daniel Gafford, same situation. Just about anybody in the league could use a starting level center. There is a premium market for starting level bigs like Daniel Gafford. Now, you could argue with me about what his play has looked like and whether or not he has impacted his value. All the same, it was reported last week by maybe not reported, but there was a thought piece that Tim Cato put out last week that just based off of conversations he's hearing around the league, it's Daniel Gafford that has the most robust trade market right now for the Dallas Mavericks. And that is more true now than it was then a week ago. So Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall, dare I say D'Lo, like we're done with that project. Like that experience is over. Like he's catching DNP CDs. I don't even know if he'll see the court tonight. Even though the Mavericks aren't going to have Brandon Williams active, they're not going to have PJ Washington active. We are a shell of the roster that we started the season with. And even still, I don't know that we'll see any playing time for D'Angelo Russell. So could we just move that contract? There might be some teams out there. I'm not going to say that contenders are D'Angelo Russell would itch the scratch that contenders have. Like, no, maybe that's not what they're looking for. But if there's another team that just kind of needs to bolster their bench, have a secondary or tertiary ball handler in this case, let's pick up the phone and have those conversations. And let a man dream. I'm also going to throw the name Caleb Martin out there. Can we move that $9 million contract somewhere else? Like if somebody wants Najee Marshall or Daniel Gafford that badly, I might play hardball a little bit. Like, okay, cool. Well, there's got to be also some room on your books for Caleb Martin. Thank you. But that's the kind of process I see us going through. With the remaining, let's call it 23, 24 days before the trade deadline. Like we got to move some people. Got to free up some cap space because if we don't do anything this season, we will very much be a second apron team next season. And that takes away a lot of your roster building tools right there. Okay. So we have to get ahead of that right now. Okay. Something I'm excited about, like when we were in our worst form last season after the first AD injury, we were kind of like in full tank mode and Najee Marshall was getting like 35, 38 minutes a night. I think we're going to get a little stretch of that kind of basketball. And whenever he gets just free reign, he's really fun to watch. I think we might see some 30-point games from him before he's traded, if he's traded. By the way, we're going to talk some bold predictions here in just a few moments. So stow that one away for a few moments from now. Again, can we please get a GM like right now? Like, I don't want us, we need to move these names that I was talking about, because these are all guys that I would consider to be vets that don't necessarily fit the timeline of Cooper Flagg. So we need to somehow not get fleeced in all of these trades that still need to be made. So that's where, again, I want an adult in the room. If those adults are already in the room, Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi, great. If those guys make some stellar moves still by the deadline to free up cap space, bring in young talent, and reload some draft capital in our arsenal, then yeah, I think one or both of those guys deserve to be full-time. Okay. That's just my opinion. I'm going to move on past it. I'm going to talk bold predictions next, and then we're going to talk the positivity that we can glean out of what we've seen so far and what we're going to expect to see the rest of the season. Tonight, we do have a road game against the Chicago Bulls, who, just happy to get a couple extra days rest. They were supposed to have a game on Thursday night against the Miami Heat, but they had condensation on the floor, right? There was a big rainstorm, and I guess their roof is not in great shape, and there was some water leakage. I also heard that the Bulls share the same arena as the Chicago Blackhawks. So when there's ice underneath the wooden floor and it's really cold, there can be some condensation that rises, and then it gets the floor wet. I didn't fact check that last one, so maybe you can hit a quick Google search. But either way, they're getting some extra rest that they weren't expecting. I don't think we're going to win tonight, actually. I felt pretty good about it until the Anthony Davis news. Felt pretty good about it until I saw that the Bulls had some extra rest. I felt pretty good about it until I saw that PJ Washington and Brandon Williams were going to miss tonight. So we're going to be back with, a really strange starting lineup. And I think we lose, guys. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, I'm not going to harp on a bunch of negativity here, but I do, again, we're going to lose, even though the Chicago Bulls don't have Josh Giddey or Kobe White. They're out both with injuries. We're going to lose 104-92. It's going to be an ugly offensive effort. It's not going to be all bad, so just hang on. There's going to be some things that we can get excited about looking for tonight. But, yeah, they're a bad team, straight up. Chicago Bulls are not good right now, especially without, two of their three best players being out with an injury. We're worse, okay? When Anthony Davis is not on the floor, we win about 25 to 30% of our games, like straight up. That's just what the facts say. I'm not going to oversell how we're an awesome team whenever he's on the floor, but we're really bad with him not on the floor. Okay, so again, we lose. That's just fact of the matter, in my opinion. That was a contradiction. But one thing that I have my eye on that I want to see more of. We actually shot pretty well from the 3-point line the other day against the Kings, or was it the Jazz? The Jazz, yeah. We hit 16 of 38 from 3-point line, so the attempts are up. That's what I want to continue seeing more of. Keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on that statistic. Like if we're not fully healthy, we have no choice but to just fire up as many threes as we possibly can, or else it's going to get really ugly really fast. But I would love it if we didn't fall behind by 10 or 11 in the first quarter. But let me tell you some of the things that I am excited about this game. I mentioned this earlier. Moving forward, rest of the season, this team is clearly one man's team, and that is Cooper Flagg. Okay. So that's the first positive note that I want you guys to take away from the bad news that came out yesterday afternoon. This is Cooper's team. He's about to get full green light, full permission to just go get your hoops, man. Go get your buckets. Be a lot bit more selfish than you have been so far this season, because we truly do not have many scoring options. Like, it's going to be Najee, Coop, Klay, and I don't know who else is going to step up and score points tonight. I don't know if we're going to see a kick in effort from Daniel Gafford. I don't know where we're going to get the points, and that's why I picked us to score so low at like 92. But of those 92 points, I see Cooper Flagg getting 35 of them. Call me delusional. This is the stat line I see happening: 35 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 stocks for our main event. This is like, it's not necessarily the first game that he's had with AD off the floor, obviously, because AD has missed more than half of the season. It's just going to be a totally different vibe. We're not really trying to compete or win games anymore. So I say we just let the Rook do his thing. Let the Rook cook. And I think if he gets his shots up, if he finds a way to like not get in foul trouble or get flustered because of the extra responsibility, I think our rookie is going to shine tonight. Again, 35, 10, 6 assists, 4 stocks. Go ahead and book that one. Last bold prediction I have for tonight's game, that is going to be Najee Marshall with, I don't know, between 25 and 30 points. Again, guys, I cannot stress this enough. Scoring will have to come from somewhere. Okay. We don't have multiple options on the floor at all times. So it's mainly going to be Cooper Flagg and Najee Marshall. And I mentioned this earlier. When we went through a similar stretch of last season, Najee Marshall was amazing, right? So a lot of teams are going to be keeping an eye on him. He's a big name that's going to pop up a lot between now and the end of the trade deadline. So I think he's going to start having more fun on the court, maybe bolster his value a little bit. Again, I do not want the Mavericks to trade Najee Marshall, but I think we're going to have to, guys. And we really need to get as much enjoyment out of these last few games from him as possible. At least that's the mentality I have. Tell me if you think I'm insane. I probably am. Last thing, I briefly – 2 more things to touch on. Cooper Flagg, I'm going to talk about this very briefly. One of the big positives that we're going to take away, again, this is Cooper Flagg's team. This is very, very good for his Rookie of the Year bid, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's had tremendous responsibility on his shoulders so far this season, and he's delivered, right? Again, he's leading the Dallas Mavericks in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. If he finishes the season that way, he'll be the first rookie since Michael Jordan to do so. He's going to start running away with this Rookie of the Year chase because he is the guy in Dallas now. He is the guy. Like, even when PJ Washington comes back, he's not going to be our number 1 scoring option, or at least I hope not, especially because he has not been shooting all that well this season. But yeah, this is Cooper's team. This is very good for his Rookie of the Year bid. Last thing, my gut reaction about how this impacts the Kyrie Irving of it all is I don't think it makes sense for us to bring him back this season. I don't speak on behalf of Kyrie. I obviously don't speak on behalf of the Mavericks. Kyrie probably wants to play. He's been putting in all the work over these last 10 months to get himself in a position to be competitive again. But homie, you don't have to do that anymore. Like, take your time. Maybe he still plays a few games this season, but I'm not counting on it, and neither should you. If he does play, the only reason that we're bringing him on the court at all is for him and Cooper Flagg to start getting some reps together. We're not at all going to see the Cooper Flagg, AD, and Kyrie Irving lineup this season. But if we're holding on to AD until next season, and maybe we still have some trouble generating a trade market for AD this summer, and we're holding on to him to start the season next year, then and only then could we see that lineup. And when we do, I'd rather see it as close to fully healthy as we can possibly get at this stage in both of their careers. So if you ask me, like, to put money on it, I don't think Kyrie Irving is going to return this season. Would it make me so very, very happy if he did? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know if it's worth the risk of rolling the dice with his health. Let me know what you think about that. To recap the episode, y'all, the AD of it all is still just painfully ironic considering what happened nearly a year ago. It's very sad for him because it's not his fault that he gets injured over and over. It's really a sad thing. I don't know what's going through his mind right now. But the path forward for the Mavericks is to sell off their veterans. Like, it's time for a fire sale. It's time to get as much draft capital as we possibly can, surround Cooper Flagg with as much young, exciting prospects as possible. And we need a GM. We need a real GM to be guiding the ship during these really tumultuous times. But all in all, it's going to be good stuff for Cooper Flagg, right? Again, Rookie of the Year bid is going to be looking rather strong, right? I don't know that we're going to hear much drama in that discussion. And then, yeah, the main question I have for the listeners today, what do you think is going to happen with Kyrie Irving? Do you think he will? And if you do you think he should return? Right? Like, cool. I'm glad you're healthy, Glenn. I'm glad you're feeling yourself. But, like, should you? Like, I'm really struggling with that question right now. Kyrie Irving is one of my favorite basketball players of all time. So, like, of course I want to see him play. But, of course, I would rather him be fully healthy for next season because who knows how dangerous we could be next season. It's time to like punt as much as we possibly can. But guys, that's all I have for you today. Let's not go get this W tonight. Let's just fully hit the tank button but have fun in the meantime, if that's possible. But for me, the way that it's going to be fun is to watch Cooper Flagg really, really develop his game, because he's going to get a lot of looks, a lot of touches that he hasn't been getting when he's sharing the court with Anthony Davis. Y'all be good. Probably see you on Monday before I record again. Party on.